Well, hello there, and welcome. You are watching Chess Please, and this is a special edition of Puzzles and Chill. Yeah, a bit more of a laid-back sort of vibe. Basically what I want to do is just work through some puzzles, just a nice quick 10-minute, 15-minute one. Basically as long as I can go without losing 3 puzzles in a row. Puzzles, great way to get better at chess, great way to just understand a bit more about chess. Sometimes it can be a little daunting just jumping into games if you're not feeling in the zone. Puzzles are against the computer essentially, or against no one, but they give you a good idea of like tactics when you're in a game to understand like, oh, this looks like a thing that I might be able to do. So yeah, today we're just going to go through a nice 1 cup of coffee and as many puzzles as that'll get us through. Yeah, I want to do something just a little bit more meditative. And I'm going to jump into Puzzle Rush because what's more meditative than rushing? So Puzzle Rush is essentially kind of like a time trial, or just a trial really of how many puzzles you can get right. You can do 3 minutes, 5 minutes, or survival. I'm going to do survival today, which was basically just like keep going until you get 3 wrong total. And that's it really. I want to talk through in a lot of detail probably why I think some of the moves are what I want to do, why I think some of them are maybe not what I want to do. I'm going to do this so you can see my top score is 22. Not bad, not great. Definitely attainable. But without further ado, let's jump on in. So first thing I want to... Oh, the clock has started already. First thing you want to do in a puzzle is just sort of... I think the first thing that I do is I check for... oftentimes these are going to be very precise, very sharp, as they say, where you have to get exactly the right move. So often you'll see positions like this where you're down material. Let's see, white has a bishop and a queen, we just have a queen. Now this one looks easy enough because this king is going nowhere and they don't have any way to stop it if I just crash in like this. So a nice one to get the juices flowing. You'll see here 177, that is the rating, the chess rating of those particular puzzles. Obviously they go up and up and up as you get more and more right. So these first couple of ones I won't spend too much time on, they're handy enough. And actually they're sort of flawed in terms of like at this level they're kind of always checkmates, or they're always like pretty clear 1 move victories. I say that now, we're probably going to get a few wrong here. I think it's just this queen in here, king's got nowhere to go, no way to stop it. So we're just warming up, just getting the brain a little bit up. Sometimes I like to press the back button just to see what move kicks off the... Oh, that's good coffee. Got the Dunn Stores brand Colombian coffee today. It's nice, I have to say. So yeah, sometimes when you see your opponent's move, I don't know how much it helps. I mean, the position is still the same here, but just in terms of what they're really looking for. And in this one, again, it's pretty easy. So we're just going to take here, and pretty crucially, or how it's a victory, is this pawn moving to take the queen here is actually going to unleash a check. So that's going to be the first thing that they'll need to deal with, rather than getting that rook safe. So we'll just take that as well. Next one, again, very similar theme here. We can just jump in here, back rank mate. Very, very common one, and it appears a lot in puzzles, but at these kind of levels of chess as well, back rank, and the level I play at too, back rank mates, wildly common, very, very common, very easy to fall into. You can be in the ascendancy, you can, be winning tons and tons of material, but if you don't look after your king, it can be just like sort of a 1-punch knockout. So you'll be pretty flattened when it happens, but it will happen. This one I think is just a classic fork. Knight comes in here to check on the king, and we can win that rook, winning the exchange there. Always risky drawing a couple of different knight moves together. On the board, they just look weird, and I think we all know why. But we won't say another word of that. Okay, now we're getting into some meatier climbs. So I think this one, you see the king here with the rook right in front of it. Our rook is pinning this rook here. This king is also defending this rook, so actually if we move our knight in here, king can't take here because the king can... I suppose it could just move there. Oh no, it can't, because the knight will be covering these two squares. It can't move here because of the pawn, so it's going to have to give up defending that rook, and then we can just crash on in here. Okay, 6 out of 6. 22 is the target. 25, I think, is the target today. Let's have a look here. So again, very, very closed game, whatever this is. Sometimes that's a critique of puzzles, is that they might not necessarily represent real games. They're sort of concocted positions. The tactics are still true though. This is a pretty nice one actually. We're getting into some interesting concepts here. Discovered attacks, always a vicious one if you can level one. This one being that this king is in striking distance of check with this knight, and actually this knight moving here I think is going to be the move. It's going to put the king in check, and then also this queen is going to be freed up. That's it. That's all she wrote. Bish, bosh, slammy. Slammy Davis Jr. And that's all he wrote. Okay, so a couple ways to play this one. The most obvious that I find is queen here. There's going to be a check. King's only got this move to go, and then queen crashing in here. Got a lovely little support and assist there from the rook. Don't see any way for them to stop that, so that's going to be the right one. Another thing that can be frustrating about puzzles is oftentimes there's fine moves. There's really, really good moves you can make that you might make in a game, but they are looking for the best moves here. So this one, I see king is on the light squares here, but I do see a little bit of chicanery we can do here. If I check the king with this rook like so, then the king is going to have to move off of this back rank, and this knight is covering these two squares. So this is actually the only square that they can go to. And when they go here, then our knight can come in here, and then it'll be a fork on the king, and we can take that bishop for free gratis, and that's the game. There we go. Give me that. Give me that. And next up we have okay, another interesting position. So the order here is going to be important. Mainly, I see that this knight move here is a fork on the queen and the king, which oftentimes is good enough. But our queen herself is under attack here, so you know it's fine to win their queen, but if we don't take care of our queen, that's just a trade. That's not a tactic, really. Sometimes trades are good if you can get away with a trade when your opponent, particularly when your opponent is attacking and attacking strongly. Trading off is a good way to just blunt their knife a little bit. But in this one, because we're behind material, we definitely want to bridge that gap. I still like knight first, and then I'm kind of thinking knight first. Don't really see what else. I don't see too many great moves for this queen. I'm gonna try this. This could be our first First failing of the day. Oh no, it's fine actually, because we will still win. If I take the queen here, take here, knight takes rook, and then we're very much in the ascendancy. So I think we are still gravy to do this, and then this. Sweet. Okay, nice. So yeah, we didn't win a clean queen, but we did win a queen and a rook for our queen. So great success. This looks like another fork here. Good way to check that is particularly knight forks, which can be the hardest to spot. If you see the king and the queen, or the king and a rook, or queen and a rook, basically two pieces, first thing you want to check is that they're all on the same coloured square that your knight is on before you move. So knights, the way they move, they alternate squares. They alternate coloured squares, so they always have to move from a dark square to a light square, back to a dark square in sequence. So that you know, in order to land a fork, basically you just need to check that the pieces in question, obviously that they're in forking distance, but a good way to like train yourself to look for that is look at the colour of the squares that they're on. King and queen are both on dark squares, so is our knight. Is there a forkable square? Forking hell, there is indeed. So that's probably going to be all it is, I think. That's that, and that's that. And then it's probably just this, just trade off the rooks there. Again, if you're playing along at home, one thing you should be looking at is open file over here. Ooh. Open file over here, very exposed king. And we've got a queen and a rook really nicely placed there. I think this is mate in one, actually. If you want to tell me where I want to put my queen, or just scream it at the telly or your phone, wherever you're watching this. I think it's just this one here. I think that is going to be all she wrote here. Bing. Up to 12. Coming up on the halfway mark of our goal here. So again, this is a discovered attack, what it looks like, and it looks like it's going to be knight. So again, what are we looking at here? We see that the king is on a dark square, so is our knight, so there is a check available to us. And in general, checking and putting the king in check is a very strong thing to do for these sort of tactics, because by the rules of the game, they have to respond to that first. They have to get their king to safety first. So if you can land a check, everything that's left in that wake, unless it can be rectified with a capture or with pieces, that'll have to get dealt with in another move if they have time. So what this means for us here is this knight's going to come in here. That's a check. This knight's going to come in here, and that's a check. And then you're probably saying, like, well, they can just take with this pawn here. That's absolutely fine, because what this knight leaving unblocks this bishop to hit the queen. They don't have time to get her out of the way. Just like that. And again, a knight and a bishop for a queen, absolutely worth it. Generally the points go pawns are worth 1 point, just sort of in general. Pawns are worth 1, knights and bishops are worth 3, rooks are worth 5, queen is worth 9. So obviously the knight and the bishop together are 6 roughly, depending on their position and stuff, but 6 points for 9. 9 is a larger number than 6. I play chess, you know. It's a little bit of chess maths there. Speaking of being a wanker, what do we think of the Drunken Satyr? What I'm kind of looking at is pawn takes knight here, bishop takes knight, just leave him be, and then if that happens, my pawn's going to be here, their bishop's going to be here. I don't think they'll be able to stop if I push my pawn there. There's no great way to stop me from either castling, sorry, not castling, queening, promoting, or giving up this rook. That's what I think, that's the theory. Let's see how it works out. Bing. Okay, great. They didn't make us finish it out, which I'm very glad of. Alright, next one. So again, this is, you know, you can see some sort of slow moves maybe that might be useful here, but with these two here and the king here, you do not have time for that at all. So it's got to be perfect. Kind of means it's got to be checks the whole way through. Check the halls. So I think the only real checks we have are this, which actually looks pretty good. It's a pawn. It's keeping the king in check there. King would have to either go here or here, probably here. Other options are, I don't wanna, rook here. Does that do anything for us? King can come here. King can take the rook straight away, and there's nothing wonderful we can do with the queen anyway. I think this is the first one. I think this is definitely. I'm trying to think how you finish this out from there. Okay, so this first. If king comes here, rook here is mate. Okay, great. If king, so here, and then if king here, then queen here is mate. Okay, so it's this king there, which means rook, and then rook here. Yeah, so yeah, I think rook here forces the king back there. Yeah, this is gonna be it. Bing, bosh, bosh. Nice. Okay, 15 in a row. We still got our 3 lives intact. This is where it might get a little bit spicy. Having to think about these a lot now. This is a fun one. I think I saw this one a couple of days ago on one of the chess subreddits, so I won't pretend like I got this one all right. But it's basically this clear back rank and this open file here, as well as the king not having anywhere to go there, and this little pawn wall. All of these things coming together basically makes this a very, very tight squeeze for the king in here. And we can take advantage of that with a sacrifice, which is this rook in there. King takes, oh no, my rook. But then rook across here, and that's mate. He's got nowhere to go. So we're all gravy. So a bit of an early game tactic here. Fabulous crack of the knuckles there, if I might say so myself. I mean, I do like the look of this square in here for this knight. That traps the queen, I think, or it certainly forces the queen into a very compromising position. Slash. I think this might be just a queen chase, a queen hunt. So if knight comes in here, queen can't go here, can't go here. Can I go there? Could come here. But I don't see anything. Like, this bishop's going nowhere, queen's not really going anywhere, this knight doesn't have too many attacking options as bishop neither. I think this is going to be a starting move. This is just a very nice little square for that knight anyway. And now... Okay, so now what has opened up with this knight moving off this square in here, I actually think we can start to do this. Queen out. If pawn push, knight on there, maybe? I think it's this anyway. Now I think knight can take here because if it takes back, then we get the rook for free. And also we just have a pretty electrifying discovered check on the king here. Is there anything else we can do with that? I think it's this. What happened there? They took that knight. Okay, so now we have a discovered check. Because when this knight moves, the king's going to be in check. Discovered check is lethal. So I think even though this bishop is here defending, it's not going to be able to do anything. Ooh, oh, I'm in check. Great. I thought that was going to count as a miss or as a bust. But actually, I tried to do an illegal move. I'm in check here. That's got to be resolved first. And it is. Which is better, check or take the rook and run? Let's take the rook. There was no mate there. Alright, black to move. Serious black. So this is just a pure calculation one. Who's going to get there first? So it's my move. So I got one. They'll go here. Maybe at that point, if I do this. No, okay. Maybe I need to do this now. Check. Ugh, these ones are tricky. I always just get melty brain on these ones. We're also 17 puzzles on the bounce. We're doing okay here. Maybe just push, then check. We do this. If we start with this, then this. Okay, maybe. I think there's a way we can sacrifice this rook for this pawn, but also get this fella promoted. And I think it's just this. And I think it's this. Ay, Chihuahua. Can I go back to that one? No. No is the answer. Is this? No. Okay. That's our first loss. And now we come up against another pretty devastating topic of chess, which is tilting. Where you just completely collapse. Just capitulate, as it's known. And to be fair, the puzzles have gotten harder, but they're not crazy hard. I think in the other one I should have just promoted, in this one here, just promote, and then they won't be able to promote without you just taking back with your newly formed queen. Yep, that's what it was. I think. Who knows? We'll check it out when we're editing it. This one, bit of a humdinger. A hummy dummy, as we call them. That's a very common chess term. Some knights pinned. Also double pressured. It's double defended, but one of those defenders is a queen. Actually, triple defended. So the knight's fine. Let's not move. Let's not be too hasty there. I think probably just take here is the thing. Can't see anything better than that. That's fine. Rook take or knight take or rook take are the options. Rook take looks better to me. Knight takes there. Okay, it was just a trade calculation, I suppose. What happened here? I don't see why we can't just take here. No, we're in check there. Okay. Right. That's okay. Okay, they gave us that one. I didn't fully know what we were doing there, but all's well that ends well. Queen's under attack. I think if we bring this bishop in, it's going to attack their queen and their rook, and we'll also get that knight. So I think it's just this. Ooh, no. Foolish boy. Yeah, that was the actions. I'm a petulant boy, probably, if I'm looking back at it now, just in the little thumbnail here. Probably take with queen instead. Take the knight with the queen. Yeah. Take the knight with the queen. That would have been devastating. Okay. We're on 19. We've got no lives left. 25 is the target. 22 is our PB. Both looking in jeopardy right now, but sometimes something good can happen. Is today one of those days? Okay. Only real good move I can see is this. But thereafter, I mean, king drops back here. Is there a way we can just be left with our pawn? I don't know if there's a way we can win their rook straight away. But let's try this. Ah, crumbs. Crumbs. Crumbs and piss. That's frustrating. But a fun time all the same. What was the answer here? Is it gonna let me? It's not gonna let me do it. Yeah. Anyway, any chance I could get those answers? No, I think if I click in. So these three are the wrong ones. The wrong ones. The offending parties. Does that still look fine to you? It still does. So this was one of the ones we got wrong. This was the promoting one. I want to try this one again. So I think if we just let me play problem. I think we just go. We just run to the hills because they have to promote there, and then we can just take back. And now it's queen against a rook. Great. Okay, that's that one done. This was another one in which we fell from grace. And we're going to play this problem. Pawn comes out there. Take with queen, take with bishop, take again. Okay, so that's the third one we got wrong. No point playing if you're not going to learn from your mistakes. And then this one's tricky. Okay, let's play the problem. What is this? So we did this the first time around. I thought what a cool dude I'll be. Do you know though, we can kind of just sacrifice this rook there. We can just kill the rook here. King doesn't have to take. Will almost certainly want to. Because it won't be able to stay in defense of this rook. It won't be able to stay in the defense of that rook anyway. And then we'll have a nice little king in front. So I think kill the rook, kill their rook, and then basically just to go back to that one, if it'll let me. From there, we go ball, bish, bosh. From this point, the king can't stop us from promoting, because if they go here, oh, it's not gonna let me. Nonsense. If they go, is that gonna work? That'll work. Okay, this is from a real game. Jerez Garcia, Jose Juan, and Jose Manuel Garcia Cruz. So we do this, then take, then take. There's really no way for the king. King can come here, but then if we go here, there's no stopping the pawn. You know, king comes here. These three squares are now off limits to both kings, as long as they're both there, which is wonderful news for this pawn. Just keep on pushing, nothing for it to do, and then we're away with the fairies. So that was Puzzle Rush. That was chess. We got 19, maybe 22. Isn't such a mug's score after all. Although I think these puzzles are definitely doable. But yeah, I'd encourage you all to give Puzzle Rush a lash. Puzzle Rush a lash. Generally play puzzles. Play them like that. I would say not like that. Don't get them wrong like I did. But try to think through before you make a single move what the full solution is. Very easy on your phone on chess.com, just to be like maybe this or maybe this or maybe this, and you just get the X's and it doesn't really matter. It's a little more fun, I find, if you really try to, like, as though you were in a game. There's no take backs, there's no do agains. And yeah, it's a really nice way to experience some pretty complex positions, and just sort of sharpen your senses for when to look for, like, knight forks. Ooh, some dust. More dust. Didn't catch it. Yeah, to look for things like knight forks, or, you know, mating patterns with a sacrifice, different things like that that, you know, might not show up that often in a game, but you definitely don't want to miss them when they're there. But yeah, this has been Puzzles and Chill, and I really enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. If you did, if you didn't, you will never hear these words. So go and have a lovely day. Again, you'll never hear these words. But for those of you that did watch, if you had a good time, smash that like button and subscribe if you want to. If you don't want to, no worries at all. And take it easy. 3, 2, 1, out.